Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Thanks for checking out the channel. Today, we are doing another episode of our video slash podcast, whatever this is going to turn out to be, where we are going through and documenting the process of us creating and scaling an insurance agency. So, on the last video, we talked about hopefully it was interesting, but all kind of like the boring stuff that you need to get out of the way, the business stuff, so that you can be set up properly. In this video, we're going to be talking about what our strategy is going to look like now that we're able to actually start like transacting business. So, yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Thanks for sticking around. If you guys don't know yet, if you haven't seen the previous episode, definitely go check that out. I'll link to it at the top of this video. But really what we're doing here is we're having this series of podcasts. I don't know, podcast slash videos. I don't know how long it's going to be. It could be for a long time. I'm really just trying to peel back the layers of what we're doing as we're going through and just document the entire process. Because as I said before, I feel like this is something that's kind of been missing. I see it in a lot of other industries, people going through and talking about the entire process of starting and scaling a business. And I just really haven't seen that in the insurance world. And I truly believe that the insurance world is such a fruitful industry, such a place where people can make a lot of money, have a lot of success, find freedom, financial time freedom, create amazing lives for their families. And I just want to be able to share that and show that there's a different way to do things. And so that's really what we're doing with this, documenting the process. I'm here with two of my business partners. We got another business partner, Ryan, who's out in California. Hopefully he'll be able to make it on some of these videos, but not today. We're here with Nick and Carter. I'll let you guys introduce yourself. But just last thing I want to say is if you guys do like these videos, please like the video and subscribe. It really helps us to continue to make this content for you guys. And along this process, we're following my flagship course, which is called Advertising Mastery. Everything that I've put into that, as I've learned over the last several years of teaching, coaching, and working with insurance agents and agencies to scale their business through digital marketing, funnels, all that type of stuff. That's in my course. If you guys want to check that out, there's a link in the description of all these videos, but that's the process we're really following and iterating as we go through this. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're here with Nick and Carter. You guys want to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, so I'm Nick, and I took a drink out of an empty cup when we were getting ready to start this. Yeah, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I met this guy at a Bible study just randomly that neither of us had been to in over a year, probably for me. I don't know about you, but I know it was a while. Met him, and the like steps just kind of everything just kind of aligned. Worked for Justin for a little bit, and then got into insurance, and it's kind of all coming full circle now with the agency. So
nice. Yeah. I'm Carter. I work actually with Justin, Insurance Advertising Masters, and so that's the relationship he and I have had since we met at church probably 2 years ago now. Then I got interested in insurance. Got my license now pretty recently, and kind of fell into this agency as you guys are putting it together. And so it's been kind of a cool process to be a part of.
Awesome. Yeah. So like I said, I just want to have kind of like a casual discussion on like what's our strategy. So we are creating this agency. I've seen a hole in the insurance industry for 3 or 4 years that I've been working in it. A lot of it comes from the top down, training people based on what has worked in the past, which is pretty much how every industry evolves. But the problem I see with that is that everybody that starts an IMO, starts an agency, they were an insurance agent beforehand. So everything is like sales heavy. It's a lot of, door to door, like just in your face sales. And that's just like what really leads all of these agencies, which has worked. There's not a problem with that. But for me, I'd rather stick a fork in my eye than go and cold call or knock on a stranger's door. But I've been in the advertising world for a long time, and there's not a lot of people that have implemented it, at least successfully, when it comes to insurance until, in recent years with all my clients and what I've been teaching people. And we just see the massive opportunity. And I don't actually run ads for agencies anymore. So we just wanted to always have my thumb on the pulse of the market, see what's working, testing new things. So that's why we're creating this. And it's going to be advertising led. So yeah, a lot of this just comes from like all my experience, but the main things are like we're starting out by focusing on a niche, right?
Yeah. So having a niche is one of the most important things when it comes to marketing. You have to know who you're marketing to. You have to know what you want to specialize in so that you can best help the customer that you're going to be focusing on your marketing towards.
Right. I guess that's a good thing
Yeah.
you can talk about, because when you first started your insurance business, you kind of went with the traditional sense. And so, like, do you want to just talk a little bit about your experience of how that went with you?
Yeah.
Doing all the stuff that I just said I hate.
Yeah, definitely. And I hated it too, a lot of it. So I started out in final expense. That's what one of the agents that I really got to know through your program. I actually sold him into your program. But that's what he was doing. He was doing a lot of final expense, some mortgage protection, some IULs, Index Universal Life. But yeah, mainly final expense. So I got into that. Was making calls to leads, people that actually sent in a card requesting more information.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, this will be easy. Like it's a lead. They requested more information. They'll want to talk to me. But like my first few times calling people, they were like, what the F-bomb, curse word? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't send in anything. Like, or tell me to shut up, stop calling. Like, I told you guys to take me off your list. Like, one lady,
Hey, this
I had
is
to hang
Nick.
up on
Shut
her.
up.
Yeah. I had to hang up on her because she was talking all sorts of crazy stuff. But anybody that's sold final expense can probably relate to what I'm talking to.
Mhm.
They're talking about. But it's just totally different when you actually switch to more of a marketing model where customers are coming to you.
Right.
We did that a little bit with my business. We would have done it more if I had more money to actually invest and put into marketing. It's something that kind of takes money to get going. But once you get it up and running, you have a lot more commissions coming in. For me, I didn't have as much money to put into it, so it just didn't make as much sense then to really get things rolling. But I did do it for a little bit, and the conversations were just totally different. I remember the first guy I talked to, I want to say his name is Gary because I can't remember exactly. I think
We'll
so.
call him
but
Gary.
Yeah, a guy, Gary Bear. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'll probably never watch this, so I can.
Hopefully not.
And if you are, you know what? Oh, too late. He lives in Ohio, and he got on the phone with me, and I was like, "Hey, this is Nick," and he's like, "Oh, Nick, hey, it's so good talking to you. I saw your video that you put out. I think it was really professionally done. I'm kind of weary of like marketing people and stuff on the internet, but I could just tell you're super genuine.
Mhm.
You were talking about things that I actually could relate to as a business owner,
Right.
and that's what you want your marketing to do, and that's what niching down specifically helps you out with. But I mean, yeah, I'm super excited to get into this agency and get things running because even now, like I've been doing more Medicare lately, and I'm working around small towns in Nebraska. Those people are really friendly. I can actually get in and have conversations with them too, but I can't wait to actually like dive into more financial stuff and help people with their financial situations.
Yeah.
And have them actually want to talk to us.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think my 2 cents on the niche too is like that's what we teach everybody in our program is to narrow down on your niche. What do you want to do? And we have conversations with every single client, whether they know exactly what they want to do and they just need confirmation, or they have zero clue what to do and they're like, I don't even have a clue where to start.
Right.
So I think like being able to prove to those people like just how important that is through this agency is going to be a really cool full circle to come back to them and say, hey, this is where we went. This is how we started. And now it is what it is. But understanding that we had to start somewhere with a specific niche in place to be where we are today.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that like when it comes to starting a business, starting an insurance agency, it's so important to have that because so many people get recruited in and then they just follow these same processes, focusing on final expense, mortgage protection, Medicare. But the problem with that is millions of agents are out there and they're all focusing on the same thing. You can't separate yourself from everybody else out there. So I think like the first thing you need to do is when you're at least at this point where you are being intentional about your business is you need to set your goals, right? So first, like how much money do you actually want to make? Knowing that the more money you make, it's going to require more work. But with that being said, that's going to give you, okay, what products should I probably start with, right? Because, if you're selling insurance policies that pay out 200, 300, 400 commission, it's going to be really hard to scale, especially as like an individual, to 50K, 60K, 100K per month. But if you are wanting to have those higher goals, then it's going to be easier with a product that pays a lot higher commission. So I think it really starts by thinking about that stuff and actually just being truly intentional with what you're doing. A lot of people just get into business and they like never sit down and think about like what they want to do. They just like, they get into it and then years later they're like, wow, this sucks. I've been doing this for like 2 or 3 years. I got no traction. I'm not making enough money and my life sucks. And that's just like not where you want to find yourself. So taking a little bit of time to actually like sit down, think about what you want to sell, how much you want to make, who you want to work with. That's a really big thing. And then from there, that's going to give you the next steps, which is doing research, because the only way to separate yourself from other people is to either know your customer extremely well. So to start doing research on that niche. And then in addition to that, or instead of that, doing research on all the different products you can sell. So being able to offer a benefit that most people like don't even know exists. And it's out there. Like these insurance products aren't the same that they were hundreds of years ago when they first got invented. We don't have to go into every single thing, but people now have like living benefits, which a lot of people out there don't know about. There's policies that have cash back options. So people can pay into insurance for the entire life of the policy and get all their money back at the end. There's, cash value, whole life and IULs that are designed for many different things. There's so many different things you can do with that. There's so many different books out there that you can read to get an edge on all of your competitors. And that's going to be huge when it comes to niching down, picking a market, all that type of stuff. So you guys got anything to add to that?
I think that's just in opposition to what most people think when you say life insurance. They're like scammy, or they're like, what are you trying to sell me? What are you trying to do? Or Dave Ramsey's whole term insurance stuff. Like that's great, and for a specific person, term insurance is great. But when that's like your only thought and your only idea, when somebody says life insurance, you just think Dave Ramsey term insurance. Like that's not going to get you very far. And working with people, going back to the niche, knowing who you want to work with, doing that, being able to provide that value to someone who has no clue what the heck living benefits are, what different options there are for insurance, you're already way ahead of the curve if you're doing stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think you have to steer clear of anybody saying that this is the best thing for everyone. True. One size fits all. I think term is great in certain situations. I think whole life is better in other situations. I think to generalize and say everyone's the exact same and you should just put your money into this and then, I just don't think there's a one size fit all for anything in life, especially insurance products. They're also different.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, from there, that's like the first step that we're doing, and recommend anybody following this does the exact same thing. The second step is I mentioned this on previous podcasts, videos, that we are trying to create an advertising marketing led business. So that means that we're not having an outbound sales team. We're not chasing people. We're not looking desperate. We're focusing on positioning and getting people to come to us. And the only way to do that is to put out content that gets them to come to us. And eventually we'll use paid ads to get that to a lot more people. But the easiest way to do that is just to educate, right? What we've already hit on over and over again is that there's a lot of things that most insurance agents don't even know about these products, let alone people that aren't even insurance agents. They don't know this stuff exists. So the best way to get them to find out and get them to come to you is just to educate them on these benefits. So starting to understand your customers, starting to think about what are their biggest problems? How can I solve that with the stuff that I'm licensed to sell? And then once I can solve it, let's go start making content on how to solve that. And then you got to get it to the right people. So before I get into how to get it to the right people, you guys have anything to add about like making content? Just like, I know that you've made content before. Yeah. It's not fun, but it's totally necessary.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy like kind of personality based marketing, I guess. Like just, I don't know. My content's different than a lot of people, I'd say, in insurance. Like a lot of my content isn't even about insurance.
Yeah.
I just want to share things that like I think are going to help people. And I think that draws people to me and opens up like the opportunity to actually sit down and talk with them about insurance.
Yeah.
That's more what I care about, is like trying to build a relationship as much as I can. That's my main focus with all my marketing, all my content I put out, is just trying to actually like build a strong relationship with the people in my network.
Right.
And then if it does seem like they could use my help, I think they're a lot more receptive at that point to talk with me about something that I think would be beneficial for them.
Yeah.
That's kind of my whole
In your
goal in mind.
So, well, I guess let's talk about this. You've tried to make YouTube videos before.
Uh-huh.
Do you like making YouTube videos?
YouTube's not my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a lot more time consuming than I thought.
It is. I will
Yeah.
say, and that's why we're focusing on it. It's such a valuable asset
Mhm.
because YouTube is the only digital platform that the life of your content continues to work for you over and over again.
Mhm.
So you make a post on Facebook, you may initially get a few messages, a few likes. Even if it goes viral, like it'll work really well, but then it dies. Same with Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything else out there. YouTube, you make a video and then you get no views for the first 30 days. And you feel like everybody hates you and you suck at making YouTube videos. And then all of a sudden it just blows up and it continues to blow up and you get leads nonstop from that. So while YouTube is hard, it's a big barrier to entry because a lot of people are uncomfortable talking on video. A lot of people don't know like what cameras to get, what audio to have.
Make terrible thumbnails like me.
And make terrible thumbnails.
Yeah.
There's so many things, but the point is like you actually did it. Like you just
Uh-huh.
started. And I'm sure that your first video was not great, but your last video you've made is still not great, but it's probably a lot better than it was the first time.
Right.
And so I think the point of all this is like in 2021 and as we continue to go forward, doing things you're uncomfortable doing, like making video, learning social media, putting out content, doing things that don't have immediate return as well. That's how you build like a foundation of a business that's going to last you a really long time.
Uh-huh.
And doing things that you don't feel comfortable doing, like you said, not having, I've talked to so many people, even just recently, where they have limiting beliefs and they just tell me straight up, they're like, no, that's over my head. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, actually take a look into it and see, because it's probably it's a lot easier than you think. And two, if you're going to want to grow and expand your business and do these things that you want to do, sometimes you might have to do some of the stuff that you don't want to do in order to get there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So good.
I think it was Andy Frisella. He has this talk that's like blown up on YouTube, but basically in it, he says that most people don't succeed in business because they can't get their ego out of the way to do the things that they're going to be bad at when they start. Every single person, every single human, whatever they start doing sucks at it at first, right?
Right.
Like when I played basketball, when I picked it up, I probably would dribble, it'd go off my foot. I'd look like an idiot. Then I continued to get better at it and I got to where I was pretty good. Same with marketing. Like I wasn't born knowing how to run Facebook ads, run Google
Really?
ads. No, I wasn't. But I spent a lot of time doing it. I can tell you, nobody needs to go find it. But my first YouTube video I put out is atrocious and I need to take it off the
I
internet,
can
but it's on
attest
the
to
internet. and I'm a lot better at talking in front of a camera now because I've been doing it for years and it has paid massive dividends in my business and it's going to pay massive dividends in this business that we're creating together. And most people can't go through the pain and the struggle of looking bad, embarrassing, and awkward at something. So they keep themselves from doing it. So they won't make YouTube videos. They won't run Facebook ads. They won't write Facebook ads. They'll tell themselves that they can't do it. And that's why most people fail at business. And that I heard that video the other day and I was like, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
But in so many different ways, it's like just being willing to do the stuff that other people won't do. So a lot of people hear that and they think like that's hard work, which is true. Like most people won't do the hard work. They won't get up. They won't spend 6 days a week working on their business. They won't do that. But at the same time, it's also doing the stuff that like is going to be embarrassing because you don't want to be embarrassed, but you're going to get better at what you do. And so
Uh-huh.
that was really cool to hear. So the main channels that we're going to be distributing and creating for our business, YouTube. We'll probably repurpose YouTube as a podcast at some point, and then Facebook groups. So the reason that these three things are the strongest social media sources, at least in my opinion, are because they're true assets to your business, right? A lot of people grow a TikTok account. A lot of people will grow an Instagram account. But the problem is that you don't own that traffic. And you really don't technically own it with these three that I'm mentioning, but you own it a lot better than you do with like Instagram, because Instagram, not only can they have many times changed their algorithm where your reach just disappears. TikTok's probably going to do the same thing. TikTok probably already has done the same thing. But when you have a group, those people are in a forum. It's in a community you built. When you have YouTube subscribers, those people don't go away. They get delivered your content and it grows over time. Podcast is the same way as YouTube. So having those things, putting your time into growing those things, they become true assets to your business that help you create this really strong foundation of organic. Because if you can build up your organic foundation, if you can build that up to the point where you have, whatever it is for you. So I think for us, like the first goal we want to get to is like 10K per month off organic only. Because if we know that that's going to come in every single month off of free leads, one, that's going to give us 10K a month to then put into ads to grow it even more. That's not coming out of our pockets, that I'm not scared to lose. Like if I make 10 grand in this business, I'm not scared to lose that on ads, because I know I'll make it again because I built up those organics. That's why that's so important. And then, not to mention, as you are testing ads, as you are testing ways to grow, you know that that's coming in, so you have a profit base and you're making everything so much more profitable. So that's really why we're starting there. And I just see those three things as like the most powerful social media sources.
Definitely. Yeah. And individual agents too, when you are very first starting out, I mean, that's one of the best ways to get going. Mm-hmm. When I was putting out a lot of things about health insurance, like I still to this day, even though I don't do a whole lot anymore, I still get people reaching out, hey, you do health insurance, right?
Yeah.
And like even my Facebook page, people see that I have like certain insurance things on there and they'll reach out through that. So yeah, having those organic methods in place, especially when you're starting out, is just, so important.
Yeah.
I've seen that in my own business too.
Because I know you bought leads and lost a ton of money initially, but like in the last 4 or 5 months where you've really seen the uptick in your business, you haven't really done much with leads, have you?
Not a ton, no.
Yeah. Is it mostly coming from like all those posts that you put on Facebook and your stories and all that type of stuff? You've also done a few interesting things with like getting your customers to post about you.
Right. Yep. I usually ask them to make like a testimonial on Facebook. Then I'll usually screenshot that. I'll put it on my Instagram story, which is linked up to my Facebook, and then it'll go on there too. But that helps a lot. Mm-hmm. I usually get at least 1 or 2 people reaching out after that. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so you have anything to add?
No. Okay. No, I'm not a content guy as much as you two.
The tax guy over there, the accountant. Okay, so that's our plan. We're gonna make content. We're gonna put it on those platforms, and then the simplest way is we're just gonna have call to actions. Like if you guys need help with us, schedule an appointment using Calendly or Schedule Once, any sort of scheduling software, or just message us. Like in the beginning, that's the easiest way to do it. We'll eventually get into using funnels and things like that, but up front, we're just talking to people through digital sources. Then once we build that, we're going to end up creating a funnel with a VSL, which we'll get into in other videos, and then running paid traffic. But that's just kind of like the plan. I think for me, I would say like the first month or two, we're just going to go really hard on the organic stuff, try and build that up. I'd say get it to 10K as fast as we possibly can. And then see, since you and Ryan are going to be doing the sales, see how many people that gets you, right? Because like at some point we may need to hire another salesperson or something. But it's kind of the plan for right now.
Total world domination.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really all we got. If you guys have questions about that plan, like what it looks like, if just anything we talked about today sparks questions, feel free to drop that in the comments. We just really wanted to talk about like what our plan is, and now we're going to go out and execute it. Like I said, we're going to try and document everything that we're doing and put it into these videos. And as we go through and execute what we just talked about, we'll make videos on that and how it's going, things we learned, because I'm sure we're going to learn a lot of stuff through the process, make a lot of mistakes, all that type of stuff.
I can't wait for this journey and just to really get things going. It's going to be really good.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning into this episode of our podcast / video. Still don't really know what it is. It's a hybrid of both. But like I said, a lot more going to be coming. So anything you guys have questions with, drop them in the comments. If you guys like this content, if you like seeing behind the layers, going into this entire process of us starting from scratch, building an agency and scaling it, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue to grow, continue to put out content to teach you guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.